Before you judge this man, listen carefully. One mistake, a broken promise, and a courtroom that decides his future in minutes. Will he get mercy, or will his past destroy his last chance? Stay with me till the end. This case will change how you see justice.
In summary, this motion to revoke probation in your case, Mr. Robertson, states that on April 11th, 2022, in this court, you were sentenced to 5 years in prison, probated for 10 years for assault family violence. Is that true and correct?
Sir.
Allegation 1 states you committed the offense of failure to identify by giving false fictitious information on or about July 3rd, 2022 in Chambers County, Texas, which was a violation of condition 1 of your probation order, which is don't commit a crime while on probation. Is that true or untrue?
True.
Are you pleading true voluntarily and because it is true?
Yes, sir.
You understand that a voluntarily and knowingly made plea of true of one or more violations of probation, that's all it takes to grant a motion to revoke probation. Your probation can now be revoked and you can be sentenced up to 5 years in this case. So no less than 2 nor more than 5 years confinement. This is a 3rd-degree felony. Knowing that, you insist on pleading true today.
Yes, sir.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true.
Yes, sir.
Is there an agreement?
No, it's becoming you, Judge. What I was asking, one of the questions you had raised, Judge, is you said something about 2022 is when he got put on probation, and basically what happened as to why we're here now. I think we're in 2026. Judge, to my understanding, and I don't want to give you inaccurate information, so I would ask that you look this up yourself. But to my understanding, he's basically done 3 years in prison. What he's telling me is that, and like I say, I don't want to give bad information, so I want you to look it up. But to my understanding, from talking to him, he didn't report and do all of that because he was sitting in prison. So what I was asking you to do today, Judge, is this: since he's looking at 2 to 5, I was asking the court to do 2 years and give him his credit for the time served that he was in prison. Because he was in prison.
When did he go?
Now, I don't know the exact date, so I don't want to give bad information. Do you know the exact time he was served?
I have access to it.
I don't know the exact. Do you know
He
the
arrived in Texas Department of Criminal Justice July 2nd, 2023.
Okay, so July of 2023 to when you got
discharged November 24th, 2025.
Okay.
It's a little more than 2 weeks.
On this reporting for probation, how long did he report?
He came with an initial date.
And that was it?
That is
What was the date?
That is 2022.
It says May.
It was April 14th, 2022.
And he went to prison, I think, in 20.
Okay, that was right after this hearing.
Yeah, he showed up. He showed up.
Wait. No, that's not what he just said. When did you go to prison?
I went to prison in 23.
That was a year later.
Right, no, I thought you had asked when he showed up.
Okay, so for a year, he was out paintball. You never reported, right?
So,
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, he showed up for the initial one. You're right. I got you. You're 100%.
Yeah, but okay,
Right.
because the initial, everybody reports for the initial, but it's what happens after that.
Right.
Because probation for 10 years, 100. That's if it carried out, which we always shorten it for people who do well. That's 120 months, right? So he did one, and then he was gone.
Well,
119 months. He's not going to complete because he took off on his own.
no, the only reason I brought it up to you, judges,
Plus committed crimes of failing to identify.
right. But I didn't want you to think that from 2022 to today's date, he was just out there. No, he was actually locked up for that 2 years and how many months that he was locked up. He was on probation in Jefferson County, but he got picked up in November in Harris County. And if you look at that time from Harris County to when he gets out,
But he really never did much in reporting here. He did the initial, and then that was it. But he wasn't. There's several months go by before he's arrested.
yes, sir, that's correct.
The part that really speaks volumes, though, is his felony record. He's been given opportunities at probation before. Those were ultimately revoked. There's no reason in the world to give this man the minimums.
How many prior felonies do you have, sir?
to my knowledge, 3.
There's so many you don't even remember, do you? Because you're so far off. Here's the pre-sentence report I'm looking at. Okay, I've got criminal mischief, 5 years deferred. And then you were revoked in 2002 and sentenced to 2 years state jail. So there's 1. Then illegal possession of controlled substance in 05, 2 years in prison. Assault on a public servant, Harris County, 2 years in prison. That's 3 right there. Fraudulent use of or possession of identifying information, Harris County in 2016, 180 days in state jail. There's 4. Then you picked up in 2017 illegal possession of a controlled substance, but did 60 days in the county jail. So I don't know if they reduced that, but that did not end up being a felony conviction, but it was a conviction of a non-felony, so it's another misdemeanor to add to your other 6. So that was a 7th one. Then we go a Class A misdemeanor in 2017, 1 year. Terroristic threat, convicted of a lesser charge. And then this is your 5th case, and you were convicted of it, 5 years in prison, probated for 10 years. That was a final conviction. So we've got 5 felonies, 6 or more misdemeanors, 11 convictions. You can't say that it's not penalty free.
So you heard Mr. Ham was asking the judge to give you 5 years. I was asking the judge to give you 2 years. Judge asked you, hey, Mr. Robertson, talk. So why don't you tell him in your own words why you should get the 2 and not the 5 that Mr. Ham recommended? So talk to him, tell him.
You know, you're looking at the paperwork. I honestly went to prison for something I didn't do. I just spent the last 2+ years in prison for a DWI. The first DWI conviction ever, and I was 0.00 alcohol. And I went to prison.
In my court?
No, sir, in Harris County. And I went to prison.
Wait, how did that happen?
Because the attorney looked at the paperwork and saw that I was on probation, and he told that he don't stand a chance. He's not going to complete probation. He committed a crime, and I went to jail. I went to prison.
Who forced you to sign the documents that put you in jail? Who forced you to do that?
You just asked me a question. Who was I forced to do this? I wasn't forced to do it, but I was told that if I did not do it, I stand to go to prison for 10 years or more. So I signed for a 2-year deal.
Well, you made a choice after listening to people who were involved. I'm not talking to you. I'm not saying you, but that's what
and that was in Harris County.
Look, you've got 11 convictions. You can't say that you're naive about the way how the system works. You've got charges. You can go to trial. You can ask for a jury trial, or you work deals out. You've done this 11 times, sir. It's not like you're an infant on this. You know how this all works. And you certainly know that when you're on probation, you've got responsibilities that you never performed on this one, on my watch.
Just Steve, I'm asking mercy, please. I have 2 children that I don't want to fall victim to the system like I did with no upbringing, proper upbringing. One has just turned 13. He's a quarterback in high school. I've yet to see him play. I have a son who was 8 years old, who was 5 when I left. I have not seen him.
I feel sorry for them.
That's why we ask mercy, not for me, but for them.
Does that make any sense? That you can use that as a card to play later of it's my children who are being punished. Me punishing you for your intentional acts, knowing that it can result in harm to them. It's my fault.
I never said
that's the way. No, sir. This is all about you.
And Stephen's fault.
Let me just say, it didn't take much for me to look into my children's eyes and decide I'm going to be the very best person I can be, and I would do nothing to hurt them. And I'm sorry, you can't figure that out. Your own children, you know that your acts have consequences to others who rely on you. And you've got to pay those consequences, and unfortunately, they suffer too. It never was hard for me to figure out if I was about to make a bad choice, I wiped that out of my mind really quickly because I didn't want to hurt my children. It wasn't that hard to see how my problems could directly affect them. All right. Once again, I find that allegations 1 and 2 have been proven true by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. This motion to revoke probation filed on August 9th, 2022 is hereby revoked. And you are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 4 years. You will be given credit for time you have served in accordance with that. And this, again, the judgment reflects that this is a crime of assault, family violence, and it will be placed into the judgment. This court does not give you credit for blaming your mistakes on the harm that can happen to others, like your family. You are supposed to be third. Creators first, others, and most importantly, family are second, and I am third. Gail Sayers wrote that in his book. And it's a great story. And just by its title, I am third, is supposed to set examples that you should follow that you did not. That is all.
This wasn't just about a sentence. It was about choices, consequences, and the lives affected along the way. Every decision matters. And today, we saw the real price of one wrong step. If you want more real courtroom stories, deep insights, and powerful lessons, make sure to subscribe now and turn on notifications. Don't miss the next case. It might change your perspective forever.